Now we're going to go over the first part of example A1 in the appendix of Elliott and Woodward. We're going to go through how to create an SPSS file, which often you're not going to have to do, but just in case, let's be sure that you're prepared to do it. So in order to prepare for that, we're going to open a blank data set file. So we'll go to File, New, Data, and we now have a blank data set. And this is what we're going to be typing into. Let's get rid of our previous output file and it'll just start a new one so that we have just the data that we've been using. Alrighty, so we are going to create the data set that Elliott and Woodward discuss on page 321. And essentially, again, we have nothing in our data, but we've collected data. We have a survey that we've administered and we have the variables that we've decided on. We've looked at our code book, and so now we're going to create the data in SPSS. So to do that, we go to Variable View and we start typing in our variable names. Our variables are going to be one per row. So our first variable is ID, so we're going to type that in, and once I click over, it automatically fills it in, and I'm going to agree or disagree with that. Again, looking at the top of page 321, they've identified they want the ID to be a string variable, so I'm just going to click on that and make it string and have it do that. Oh, and they want it to be a width of 4, so I'm just going to lower this to 4, or I could type that in. And for the label, I can just type in the label again based on the top of page 321. I can just type in the label they have in that table, which is identification number. There are no value codes, it's a string variable, and we don't have to worry about missings. Now let's go to our second variable, which is called age. Again, I'm looking at the table at the top of page 321. So I'm typing in the variable name. Notice I don't have any spaces in variable names. There are rules around variable names. You want to keep them short and sweet. Now, SPSS automatically assigns it as a numeric variable. This time it is a numeric variable per that table on 321. But they want it to be a width of 3, so I'm just going to lower this to 3, and they want this to be 0. So I can either use the arrows or just type in here. Well, it wants me to use the arrows, so I'll just use the arrows. And then the label is age on January 1st, 2015. In the label, I can type anything I want. That's going to show up in tables, so you don't want it too long. You want it very descriptive, so you remember what it is. We don't have any values. It's not a categorical variable. We'll talk about that in a minute. For missings, we want a missing code of 99. So we're going to assign what's called a discrete missing value of negative 99. So we're going to type that in there. So if we ever have, as we're entering our data, if it's missing, we're going to type in negative 99 rather than just leaving it blank. We move on to our next variable, which is female. And again, this is a categorical variable, but we still call it numeric because we're going to assign a number. It's only going to have a width of 1, and it's not going to have, you can see the, oh, okay, it wants me to change the decimal places first to 0 and then go to a width of 1 because it doesn't want more decimal places than the width. And then we're going to type in the label, patient is female. Now this time we are going to put values in. This is a categorical variable in which the value of 0, according to the table on page 321, means no, this person is not female, so we're going to add that. And the value of 1 is going to have a label of yes, this person is female. And so we're assigning categories to this categorical variable. And we're going to have a missing code, it says is 9, because we would never have a code of 9. So we'll type in 9 when female is missing. And then our next variable is our T-date, which is our test date. This is a date variable, so we're going to select date, and we are going to make it month, month. We're going to select the third one, month, month, day, day, 4-digit year, and we're going to leave that at 10. We're going to label it as test date, and they have a missing code in there, but I don't normally do missing codes for dates, so I'm going to leave that blank. And then the final variable is score, and that is numeric. They want a width of 6 and decimal places of 2. That is the initial test score, and they want a missing value of negative 99. Alrighty, so that's how you create your variables. We did all of that in variable view. We just typed it in. Let's save this file. When the disk, that floppy disk, for those of you that remember floppy disks, when that disk is bright blue, that means the file needs to be saved, and we're going to name it. We're going to call it Appendix A1 example file. You can name it whatever you want. You can have spaces in your file names, but keep it short and sweet. I typically put the date in. You don't have to put in the extension, but I do. It's where I want it to be. If I had to search, then I could search through and put it in the correct folder. You want everything organized. Click Save, and now notice once we've done something where we've saved, we get an output file that opens. It tells us we saved. And then notice here the floppy disk over here, the top left, is grayed out because all of the information has been saved. The name of our file is at the top. So that's how to enter data in our that's how to create the variables. In our next video, we're going to enter data.